وفي خلقكم وما يبث من دابة آيات لقوم يوقنون.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. Are you excited to learn about another amazing animal in today's episode of Animals Mentioned in the Quran? Today we're going to learn about another wonderful animal. I'll tell you a riddle and let's see if you can guess. Are you ready? Great. This animal is very, very big and strong. It has a very long nose and loves to play in water. It mostly lives in the forest, but you might have seen it at the zoo. Do you know what it is? Yes, that's right. Well done. Today we're going to learn about the elephant. Do you know the word for elephant in Arabic? The word for elephant in Arabic is Al-Fil. So can you guess which surah mentions the elephants? Yes, that's right. It's Surah Al-Fil. You know very well that elephants are big and strong, aren't they? It's very loyal too. We are going to learn about the story of elephants and why they are mentioned in the Quran. We all know that when Allah mentions something in the Quran, He always teaches us a powerful lesson through it. So let's see what we can learn from this beautiful surah. First, let's learn the story behind Surah Al-Fil. Surah Al-Fil comes in the 30th juz of the Quran. Allah tells something very important to the Prophet in this ayah. Let's listen carefully to what Allah says.
ألم تر كيف فعل ربك بأصحاب الفيل ألم يجعل كيدهم في تضليل وأرسل عليهم طيرا أبابيل ترميهم بحجارة من سجيل فجعلهم كعصف مأكول.
This means, have you not seen, O Prophet, how your Lord dealt with the army of the elephant? This surah starts off by Allah asking the Prophet to ponder on what happened to the people of the elephant a long time ago when they tried to destroy the Kaaba. Let's listen to the next verses to learn more about what happened when the people tried to destroy the Kaaba. This means, did He not make their plan into misguidance? And He sent against them birds in flocks. We all know that the Kaaba is a very holy place for all of us, and it's so blessed in Islam. When Abraha and his people tried to destroy the Kaaba, Allah, who is the protector and supreme, made their plan fail. And then Allah says that He sent against them a flock of birds. These birds kept coming continuously towards the evil people. And what did these birds do? Let's find out in the next ayah. This means striking them with stones of hard clay. Allah sent these birds towards the evil people who tried to destroy the Kaaba, and they struck them with stones of hot clay. The stones were tiny, and they were holding it in between their beaks and their 2 feet, but they were so sharp that it pierced the bodies of these people. Allah uses a powerful comparison to describe the people who were hit by the stones. Allah says, "And He made them like eaten straw." What did these people look like? Allah says that He made them like eaten straws. When these hard clay stones hit the bad people who came to destroy the Kaaba, they became like eaten straw. So what does this exactly mean? We know that there is a straw that we use to sip juice, but there is also another kind of straw which has the same spelling, but it has a different purpose. It is long and dry and comes from the yellow stems of crops, such as wheat and corn, called hay. It's used for feeding animals or in the resting place for animals so they feel warm. You would have seen this in farms and on the sides when animals are grazing. This is the straw that Allah is referring to in this ayah. When the animals eat it, does the straw stay the same way? Does it stay stiff and tall after the animals chew it? No! When the animals eat it and spit it out, it becomes crushed, squashed, powerless, and useless. So how can we relate this with the ayah? Allah says that He destroyed those who tried to destroy the Kaaba by sending upon them birds which pelted them with stones, and when they died, He made them look like eaten straw. This was the fate of those who tried to destroy the house of Allah. So let's go back in time and learn about the story in a little more detail, shall we? Are you ready? This is the story that happened about 6 to 40 days before the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was born. The city of Mecca is a really special place in Islam. The Kaaba in Mecca is a very holy, protected, and special place. During this time, Allah was preparing the city of Mecca and Kaaba for the arrival of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. During this time, there was a commander of the Abyssinian army in Yemen called Abraha al-Ashra. He had built a huge church that was tall and beautiful. It was crafted and decorated so intricately on all its sides. It was a very tall and beautiful church. Many people came to see this beautiful church and worshiped there. Many people were attracted by this and came to visit the church, so it also promoted trade and business in this city. His intention was coming true and he was very happy. He wanted people to come to his city so that he would get more money. Abraha saw that the Arabs had the Kaaba, so he compared it and noticed that everyone started going to the Kaaba. This made him very angry and jealous. He envied the Kaaba because many pilgrims went there, that he swore to march into the house of the Kaaba and said, "I will destroy the Kaaba stone by stone." Abraha prepared himself and set out with a huge and powerful army so that no one might prevent him from carrying out his plan. He set out with men and elephants in his army. Why did they use elephants? Because at the time the Abyssinians had trained elephants for wars. So Abraha gathered his army of men and elephants and marched towards Mecca. Abraha rode on his special elephant, Mahmud, as you all know. Since the Arabs had never seen elephants, when Abraha marched into the city, all of the Arabs in Mecca got so carried away and distracted by them. At that time, Abdul Muttalib, the grandfather of the Prophet ﷺ, was the head of Mecca. He tried to negotiate with Abraha, but Abraha didn't listen to him. He asked all the people of Mecca to go and save themselves. Abraha was surprised by the behavior of Abdul Muttalib. He asked him, "Why are you worried about the camels and not protecting the Kaaba?" Abdul Muttalib, grandfather of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, said, "Verily, I am the Lord of the camels belong to me." Abraha had captured 200 of his camels, so he said, "Return my camels to me. As for the Kaaba, it has its own Lord." Abdul Muttalib was not intimidated by Abraha because he knew that Allah would defend and protect the Kaaba. Abraha was laughing and said, "No one can protect it. I will destroy it." When morning came, Abraha prepared to enter the city of Mecca. He prepared his elephants and asked the army to march towards the Kaaba. One of the villagers, called Noorain, came near Elephant Mahmud and whispered, "Kneel down, Mahmud, and go back home safe. You are in Allah's sacred town." So guess what Mahmud the elephant did? He kneeled down and refused to move. Abraha had not even entered the Kaaba. In fact, he couldn't even see the Kaaba yet, because Mahmud didn't move, and hence they couldn't enter the Kaaba. The army started poking him and hitting him, but the elephants didn't move. Subhanallah! It had more sense than Abraha. Abraha and his army got very angry, and they were almost going to kill the elephant. At that time, Allah sent a flock of birds. Each bird had 3 stones, 1 in its beak and 2 in its feet. These stones were so sharp that it cut the organs of the soldiers, causing them to die. When these stones hit them, they looked like eaten straw. So this is the story behind Surah Al-Fil. Let's reflect on it and learn about the lesson this surah teaches us. Allah is the one who protects. No one can harm or protect without the will of Allah. Do you know who was the person who went to the Kaaba, held the ring of Kaaba, and made a dua? It was Abdul Muttalib. He went and made a dua asking Allah to protect the Kaaba and take care of the blessed land. Allah sends His help in miraculous ways to those whom He wants to protect. Subhanallah. Even though the elephant was Abraha's pet, the elephants are very loyal and know that Allah is their creator. They didn't disobey their supreme creator and master, even at the cost of their life, because this was the command and land of Allah. When it came to the obedience of Allah, Mahmud the elephant humbled itself. It kneeled down and it showed respect. Even though it's huge and tall, when it came to the obedience of Allah, it kneeled down in humility. When we are asked to obey Allah's command, we may make excuses, don't we? For example, there are many of us who find praying very difficult. What we must know is that when it comes to the obedience of Allah, nothing is difficult. If you love Allah and want to do it for His sake, He will open the doors of blessings for you in ways you can never even imagine. So the first lesson that this surah teaches us is that if an animal itself can recognize the importance of obeying Allah, then why can't humans who have been blessed with intellect not do the same? The second lesson is that no matter how huge your problems are, Allah is greater than all. Even though the elephants were so big and Abraha came with a huge army, he couldn't do any harm to the Kaaba because Allah is the greatest and He is the protector. Subhanallah, that's so amazing, right? Allah can help you and make things easier for you, no matter how hard it seems to you. If you are sick, make dua. If your problem is money, make dua. If your problem is your exam, make dua. Even if you want a delicious burger, make dua. You can make dua for every single thing. The next lesson that this story teaches us is obedience. When Noorain whispered in the ear of the elephant, what did Mahmud, Abraha's elephant, do? He knelt down and refused to make even the slightest move. Even when he was poked and beaten by the soldiers, he did not move. This story also shows that even the elephant knows the rules and obeys Allah. When the villager told Mahmud that it was in the house of Allah, the elephant knew. And what is the house of Allah? The praying area, right? So what can we learn from this? Well, we can learn the etiquette of the masjid. Just as Mahmud, the elephant, kneeled down because he was in the masjid, we too must show respect and display beautiful behavior at any masjid. This brings us to the end of today's episode on the elephant. We hope you learned so many new things from this interesting episode on Surah Al-Fil, the elephant. Don't forget to share this video with your friends and family and let them also learn about the amazing story behind Surah Al-Fil. We hope you will all strive to follow the rules of the masjid and earn lots of rewards, insha'Allah. Jazakallahu khairan for listening patiently.
وفي خلقكم وما يبث من دابة آيات لقوم يوقنون